My dear student, this is lecture 3, week 3, video clip number 3. So we were talking about the steps which are required when we are defining a problem. Uh, so the last thing that we have just discussed is we must know the practical difficulties in conducting the study, because if I get you the example that whenever you are collecting a data for applied linguistics in in our area, or in KB, definitely you have to collect data from both male and female schools and colleges. It's very easy to collect data from a male student, but for a male researcher, it's quite difficult to collect data from female students, colleges. That is why we must be very much clear about the practical difficulty which will be available in the field in which we are doing the research. So, what are important? The conceptual framework for defining is the first step. Then you must know the elements and delimit the elements. You cannot take all the elements, but only a few should be taken. You must classify the groups in the elements. Then you must put whatever the key points you are selecting for research into the conceptual framework, and then you must have a strong background of theoretical aspect or theoretical framework in there, and whatever you are writing in a statement, that should be available in the form of verbal, in the verbal form, and then you must be aware of the difficulties in problem when you're going to conduct a study. You must have the knowledge of all those things. Now we are going here to see that what are how to analyze different types of elements. So a schematic analysis of a problem. So what will be problematic situation? We have problematic situation in some areas. Preliminary list of constituent, that what are the elements, like you have explanation different A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then you have different facts, that this facts is available in this field, and what are this explanation. So you relate, you must show the relationship between the facts in the explanation and that field. Then you move straight to the irrelevant constituent. You remove all those which are not required in this field. Then you come to the probable relevant constituents, like facts empirically verifiable, means you can practically see or verify those facts. Facts guessed at, suspected, predicted, but unverified. Some facts are there which are available, but you cannot verify that with the help of practical research. And then explanations empirically verifiable. Some explanations are very clear, very much based on certain facts, but some are there which are just guesses and they are not based on, or they are unable to be verified. And later on you make a problem statement, a thesis statement, which is based on all these elements. One must, you have a situation, a problematic situation, then you decide the facts, what are the facts in the situation, you explain what are the reason and explanation, then you remove irrelevant constituent in the plot, and then you have a probable relevant constituent which are very much important. You apply over here, and later you get something which we call statement problem, or problem statement. Now we are moving towards another thing which we call orientation and related literature. Now, one thing is very much important, that whenever we people as researcher, or you people are as a researcher, you decide this. So definitely you need to understand and study different types of related literature according to each field, and from there you will see and you will find certain areas that can help us to define or pinpoint certain research statement, or which we can say research gaps. So from studying different literature, related literature review of the topic, that can provide you different types of research gaps which you can further investigate. Avoidance of unnecessary duplication in the selection of problems suggests library procedures that should provide the setting for the investigation under consideration and overview of the related studies. Whatever up till now the people have done in that field, you study that, and then you realize that there are certain areas which are left, and then you move towards that areas and you research. You conduct research in those areas. Detailed information concerning use of the appropriate library guides and administrative review of the literature and uh, matricular area given in the portrait. Like they have explained that what are the relevant guides and library guides and different types of sources, and how do we go for this. It in simple words we can say, whenever you are trying to search a research game, you have to study previous researches and their field. Now, what are the ways you will understand that which type of data and method you can apply in your research. So, for advocate, definition of problem, sources of data and method for securing evidence must be carefully selected and clearly outlined in the introductory section of the report. Whatever you're writing, or you're writing a your proposal, so advocate type of method in data collections or sources must be mentioned in that. It means for each and every research method and the data collection process is very much important, because when you are going to research in the field of in quantitative research or in quantitative, so both the fields, they require two different types of data and method for the purpose of research. Therefore, as a matter of intellectual honesty and for accuracy of interpretation and reporting, any limitation in source and origin must be pointed out frankly but not apologetically. So when you are studying something, so clearly and honestly, you can pinpoint different types of problems and limitation in the research field, but they should be openly discussed, not apologetically, because that is not your problem. It is already available in the field of research. You haven't done anything, so you should be frank while explaining those things. So in simple word, we can say you must clarify which type of data collection tools you will use and which type of method you will apply when you are going to conduct a research and you are writing a research statement or a problem statement in your investigation. Now we are going to what are the ways to define the problem, research problem. The following are various ways of defining a problem. Analyze the major problems are problem in terms of subordinate problem. Whatever the problems available, pinpoint different types small problems available in the that problem. Statement delimits the scope of the study. Whatever statement you are writing delimits its scope, because the statement can be specified and it will only focus on specific areas. Orientation of the problem in a unique direction. And when you are defining a problem, so your process or procedure for investigating is based on a specific direction. You cannot go on all direction, but you will go on a specific direction to conduct your research. A historical account, remote or recent. Recent and remote mean past researches or recent researches. You must have a historical account in terms of literature to define and explore it. What are the gaps available in the previous researches? A survey of previous study or literature studies. An analysis of previous studies or related subjects mean you must have a very much clear idea whatever is available in that field and whoever have researched in those areas and what are the topics they were covered by the people who were there. That is why you must have a very much clear type of concepts about all the previous studies, and you must have critically analyzed all those fields. That is why you need those knowledges available in this field. So when you are defining a problem, so you need to go for these problems. You must have a very clear cut research problem, and you must have divided that problem in other small problems to make it more valid and reliable in the field of research. You should delimit the scope, because every statement is based on very specific areas and ideas. You must have a specific direction. You cannot move on all direction. That is why unique direction is very much important. It is supported and explored and explained with the help of historical previous studies available in that subject or field. And then you must have a preliminary surveys. You must know whatever you have done or you are going to do in that field. So you must have the knowledge whatever is available in that field and how that can help us and going ahead in the field of research with certain positive and advanced outcomes.